うん、俺はもう準備万端だ。
Hello.
僕が計算した弾道から逃げられる者などいません。僕が計算したそれは隠れているつもりですか。今回も完璧な車線でした。僕が計算した弾道から逃げられる者などいません。
Know what Stickam was? It was like one of the first streaming websites back in like 2007. Very old. People used to stream games on there, but like with the camera. It's very old. Probably a lot of people don't get the reference in the title, but very old streaming site. It was mostly for people doing blogs, but people would stream games on there too. I'm just being a memer. Yeah, keep in mind, back then it was really hard to get a capture card. So, a lot of people would stream on there with just a camera pointed at the screen. True OGs right there. Now it's considered low effort if you stream with without a capture card. You just point your phone at a screen, it's like considered low effort. Back then it was like the main option. Pretty much the only people that would do that are people that have a Switch. The Switch requires you to buy a capture card.
の覚悟があらぬ。私についてあがいてみせる。コミックス了解です。私がいる場所が戦場よ。もっと来てよ。内言の糧であなたたちを裁きます。みんなを守る。情けないよ。楽しんでくるとする。この矢はあなたへの哀れみです。
It would surprise me.
いい戦いでしたね。
I mean, that's pretty much what Kick is. People that are streaming on Kick right now are basically saying that there's like not much gaming content on there. It's mostly just people gambling. Because Twitch started cracking down on people gambling and like encouraging minors to gamble and stuff. So they all moved over there. I'm sure they're gonna have to crack down on that at some point, which is probably when that site will die. Pretty safe bet. I'll get in some kind of trouble for encouraging gambling, and then no one will go to that site. Pretty much. Pretty obvious that will happen. It's a matter of time. I might try streaming over there just for fun sometime. I have a lot of high hopes for that site, though. None of the Twitch competitors last very long. Well, they paid that big streamer to pay like 100 million in shares to stream over there. I don't think it's gonna work. They already tried that with Mixer. They're repeating Mixer's mistakes. They put all their pigs in one basket. I'm like, because I mean, big streamers are basically just babysitters, right? I mean, it's mostly kids watching. They quite literally are babysitters. There are some adults that watch, but for the most part, it's kids. So they're gonna go and watch him, and then they're gonna go back to Twitch, because there's nothing else on there. That's exactly what happened with Mixer. Ninja was like one of the biggest streamers at the time, when he got paid to be on Mixer, and he had like, probably like 1% of his viewership or something like that. Pretty minuscule amount compared to what he normally gets. And it wasn't really turning into viewership because the people that were there either, so... I think the only person that won out of that transaction was him. And he just went back to Twitch. But everybody else that actually was starting to get a name for themselves on there got screwed over by it. I think that was like part of the nail in the coffin, is they spent so much to get him and like 10 other people over there, and it didn't help.
私の邪魔をするなんてあがいてみせるゴミクズ了解ですあがいてみせるゴミクズ私がいる場所が戦場よ
It's funny to see Cake doing the same thing. Like, why don't you take that 100 million and maybe give him, like, enough to make him switch, but not that obscene amount of money. But, like, give it to smaller streamers. I don't mean, like, ones my size. I mean, like, people that are already partnered, that already have, like, a large following. Like, help them out. Definitely don't spend that money on a nobody like me, but I mean, like, somebody that's at least pulling, like, a couple hundred or 1,000 viewers. They would do it. I don't think they have as much to lose. No, pay that much for one guy. Which is exactly what killed Mixer. It's one of those things that sounded great on paper, but it was a really bad decision. The people that do those moves are pretty miserable anyway, because there's like barely anyone watching. It's like they're starting out streaming again, pretty much. It's pretty funny to think about. They're in like the top like 1 percentile on Twitch, but then they get paid to move over to sites like that, and no one's watching anymore.
Hi.
僕が計算した弾道から逃げられる者などいません。それは隠れて諦めるというそれは隠れているつもりですか。ごめん。元気。計算した弾道から逃げられる者などいません。今回も完璧な車線でした。
Remembers when people got paid to go on Facebook? That was even worse. When some people got paid to go on Facebook. They got a lot of money, but literally nobody was watching them. I knew one of the people that got paid to go over there. He had like... He went from having like a couple hundred consistently to having like maybe like 30 viewers. I'm not even exaggerating. It was a couple years ago. Facebook thought that they were going to be able to get into video game streaming. He looked pretty miserable, I'm not gonna lie. He looked pretty miserable. I heard it was like a life-changing amount of money, but like streaming for him was really shitty because no one was really watching. It's like you're obligated to stream on there at that point, but it's kind of like a lower viewership. You go to lower viewership like mine doing that, which is pretty interesting. Hello, Jen. How you doing? I haven't been streaming for the past few days. I've been kind of resting. I wanted to get over my injury, so I haven't been working that I haven't been working on the channel that much. I've been kind of half-assing it lately. Plus, my controller gave out, so that made me have to hold back a little bit too. My controller got COVID, stopped working properly, so couldn't really stream my normal stuff. I was kind of playing off-brand stuff for a while, like Diablo. But I got a new controller now, so back to the regularly scheduled Leap Trash. That was one of the reasons why I was playing Diablo. It worked with my my side chick controller. A lot of the main games I play are pretty awful to play with my side chick controller, so I couldn't really do much. But I'm on a new one now. The side chick controller is used like maybe twice a year. When this one I buy dies out after a year, I can still play games. Just I don't like using it for most of the stuff I play. The sweaty stuff I play. For the casual stuff, it's fine. I actually couldn't play this while my controller was out. I could only play it on the phone. So this game doesn't detect the Switch Pro controller. It freaks out if you have it hooked up. So I couldn't play this for like a week. I was having withdrawals. Yeah, the controller pretty much caught like some terminal illness. It just stopped, it stopped connecting to the computer, and it would do it at random. And I could like restart the computer, and then sometimes it would work, but then it kept disconnecting, so I had to cut into my, my funds from my caregiving job and buy a new one. But it took a while to get here, so kind of was really limited on what I could play. See how many more fragments do I need for her? 8? Oh. Let me make sure my game capture is working, because if it's not, then I'm gonna have to fix that. Let's see here. Let's see if the game capture is working. It's freaking out earlier. Really don't feel like having to deal with their support. Okay, why? Okay, it is working. Alright. Alright, thank goodness. Because I don't feel like doing any tech support right now. I guess the game capture stopped detecting PGR. Alright. I'm gonna try out some of the Next Fest demos, now that I know that's working. Let me know if there's a black screen for more than like 10 seconds. I must have updated something on PGR and my recording software doesn't like it anymore. Does this have no controller support? Controller's not working.
此必是公孙瓒军战败，我当速瓦救之。
Oh, now it is.
退下！
大将文丑也，公孙瓒，
无命休矣！
Like how these guys are always generic officers and
某雷兄
Dynasty Warriors.
好小儿，瞧，
They're a big deal here. Wen Cho's a bitch in Dynasty Warriors.
大明来吧，无名小辈不自量力。
Oh, wow, that's not scripted. Like, I don't even know the controls. That's pretty interesting.
我退，
Parry?
你看成别个。看这，看这，无名小辈不自量力。
Alright, is this like not scripted? You don't even tell me the controls. There's no manual.
Cut! 死吧！看这，不被收走。看枪！大兵来吧！
Why is there like a super hard boss fight at the beginning when I don't even fucking know the controls? I don't know the controls. Give me some feedback here. This guy's not taking any damage.
被收走。休想躲开！
This feels janky. Can you like at least let me learn the controls before I do a boss fight?
看成别个。 收走！
Alright. I was like, that has to be scripted. They're gonna repeat Wo Long's mistakes, give you a skill check boss in the first like 10 minutes. I was gonna say, like,
多谢少年
and the
壮士，
amount of
我乃常山
refunds you're
真
gonna
人。
get for that is
好， 谨遵将军。
The amount of refunds you get for that is would be pretty high. No, Wo Long teaches you the controls more than this does. I don't even think they could really be compared. Wo Long teaches you the mechanics. It felt kind of clunky. It didn't really feel that great, unfortunately. A little disappointed. They did say it's an early version, so maybe it'll get better later. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling that. The blocking felt clunky. You couldn't, like, guard cancel or anything. And the guy doesn't stagger either, so that's a red flag, of course, around here. The guy's not gonna stagger, it better play like PGR. But most of the time it doesn't, which is the exact problem. It doesn't play like PGR. It's like, yeah, you push the button and your guy doesn't do shit, so it doesn't feel good. Let's try this other game here. Didn't really see that much this next fest, so I guess we'll just go through all of them now. A boss fight felt pretty bad. Okay, is there no English? There we go. I can't play with the D-pad, that's already a red flag. Why can I not play with the D-pad? It's a 2D game. This feels awful. Oh man, the attack is really bad. Stinker. I can't describe how bad the normal attack feels. Looks nice. Gameplay is not there. No thanks on that one. We're going through these demos fast, huh? It's already 2 demos in like 5 minutes. Oh, the combat in that felt awful. It's good old indie games. It's either the game looks beautiful and has shit gameplay, or it looks like shit and has amazing gameplay. That's indie games in a nutshell, most of them. It's either it looks like Assault Spy and has like amazing gameplay, or it looks like that game I was just playing, like amazing pixel art, pretty good pixel art, but the gameplay sucks. This is kind of cheap looking. Yeah, they made a Game Boy Color game for it. Man, this feels awful. Oh, man. Are there no good demos this next fest? That's 3 in a row. One that had the most promise was that Zhao Yun game, but the combat in that felt really stiff, too. Oh yeah, there's this game to try. Forgot about this. Alright, this one might be the winner. I forgot about this one. Let's try this one. Been I like to put the brightness up, so I know this is a really dark game. Alright, what do we got for options? Gameplay. Defaults to easy. That's interesting. Looks like the graphics are fine. Let me turn this down a little bit. It might be one of those games where it's like quiet, but then you hit something with a sword and it goes up to like 10 decibels or something. No, I can't even change the difficulty. Alright, this guy doesn't get tired attacking, so the sorry is already has promise. It's not souls. He's not exhausted already. Like how it says he can't make that. Look at that. He could totally put his sword up and prop himself. He's an athletic guy, but no, you gotta go around. I love when games do this. They're like, no, you gotta go the other way. This is impassable, but then it's like, he could totally do that. I think the best example of that is Neo 2. There's a ladder in the beginning of the game that you have to prop down, but like, the ladder is only like a couple feet from the ground. Like, it's even within arm's reach. Like, even somebody who's not an athletic, like, super warrior could do it. But then your guy's gotta go and do, like, this whole long-ass backtracking to get to it. Like, why don't you just make the obstacle a little bit higher so it's somewhat believable? Not just like, no, we just want you to, we want to pad out the game. I need to take a photo of that. I remember what mission it is in Neo 2, where that happens. And like, dude, you would not even have to jump to get that to go up that ladder. Like, a normal person could do it. Can I change the controls to the D-pad? I don't think they let you. I'll just have to grin and bear it for now. I don't like playing 2D games with the analog stick. How soon until these guys die? That's pretty cool. Wonder if you can actually do that boss fight, or is it like SD Shin Kamen Rider, where it just kills you halfway through? Remember, I first bought that game. I beat the boss. I beat the boss, the tutorial boss, and it just kills you automatically. It doesn't even let you do it. That's why I don't really try on those fights anymore. Scripted fights like that. It's like, yeah, you can show how good you are at games, but game's just gonna cock block you. You can't do that with skill. We're gonna put you in a cutscene whether you like it or not. Here we go, forced walking. You can't ever do the forced walking in a cutscene. They always make you suffer. Like, dude, I just want to try this game. Can we not do this? Yeah, you better heal him pronto. Let's not pull a Final Fantasy VII remake. He's forced walking a little faster now, at least. Come on, let me play! Why do games do this? You can't make a cutscene and explain all this crap I'm just gonna skip. Let's get stuck walking. I don't care. Let me play. It's a fucking demo. Just, like, put me in, like, part where I can try the game. The game now. Alright. I get to move and put in another cutscene. Nice. Okay, video game now. Oh, more cutscenes. Please stop talking. Thank you. Game's gonna be a nightmare to speedrun. Sit through all those damn cutscenes. Alright, am I playing a video game now? Eh. Combat in that didn't feel that great either. I guess there's just no good games this next fest. They're all janky. There's not even like that many Vampire Survivors clones this year. It's mostly just really jank stuff that like looks nice but doesn't play well. At least there's not as many Vampire Survivors clones this year. There were like 100 of those last Next Fest. I couldn't even tell them apart. Yeah, not much stuff adjacent to my interests this Next Fest, that's for sure. Very, my wallet is safe. I don't mind the action roguelikes, it's just action roguelikes have legit sucked since, Vampire Survivors. Because there's like barely any actual roguelikes, action roguelikes anymore. It's all just Vampire Survivors clones. Ones like 20 Minutes Till Dawn are pretty cool. At least you actually control the shooting. But there's still like a bunch of the dime a dozen clones I'm like not interested in. Yeah, I played like 3 stinkers on the Next Fest so far. The graphics got me to download it, but then the gameplay was terrible. The Zhao Yun game seemed alright. I might give that game another chance later, but that game I was just playing as well. I'll probably give that some more time, but yeah, pretty barren Next Fest for me. Nothing I'm really like super frothing at the mouth to play, unfortunately. I think the Vampire Survivors are starting to die out, though. I think it's starting to, people are starting to get tired of them. It's about time. It's about time. I want action roguelikes to be like actual action roguelikes, instead of just Flash games. But lately it's been Flash games. Okay, you guys don't have visuals. Hold on. Give me a moment here. Oh, wait. I'm making mistakes. Like how this game pretty much spoiled the movie. I went to go see the movie the end of last month. This game pretty much spoils the movie. It's interesting. They took some liberties, of course, but the main plot of the movie is basically completely spoiled by this game. I don't know why it took like 30 plus years of gaming to get a movie game that actually is accurate to the source material, instead of being something very loosely tied to the movie that has like almost nothing in common with it when you consume both. Like no, this pretty much does just spoil the entire movie, most of it. They took some liberties at the end for sure, but like I mean, this is pretty much how the movie starts. The liberties being that there's no, like, grinding. He doesn't grind for levels, and you don't have, like, Godzilla and Ultraman with you. But, yeah. This is definitely one of the best movie tie-in games I've ever played. I think they did a really good job. This is obviously, like, made on a shoestring budget, so it's pretty laughable that, they nailed it with this game, but then like all the shit I grew up with, those awful movie games I had as a kid. Yeah, I got the DLC on the Switch version. I paid for it, so figured I'd try it out on here. See if the emulator's been updated quite a bit. See if it doesn't stutter anymore. Gojira. Oh, Godzilla has hyper armor, so he's a modern action game boss. Oh shit! That's awesome. Stutter City. Yeah, the PC port is more stable frame rate. But I don't feel like fixing it right now. I was just curious if maybe the updates fixed it, but nope. This game is oddly demanding. Like, I have it running on the Steam Deck, and I can't stream this game without it dropping frames. Which is weird. Shouldn't be a big deal to stream this. Played any of them that much. DLC took like a month to come out. I just dumped the DLC off my Switch like last night. That's why I didn't stream last night. You guys need to realize getting stuff off the Switch that I bought is takes like a good hour. By the time I got it running, I thought it was like too late to stream. But I had this set up for today. I had to update the custom firmware because Nintendo keeps updating their firmware and then they don't add anything. But every time they do that, I have to update Atmosphere, and then I have to make a new emunan, and I have to dump the game and get it in the emulator. I bought this game. I bought the full package of this game twice. I bought the Japanese version with the season pass, and then I bought the Singapore one with the season pass as well, because I didn't know that I could get it. I didn't know that I could get it on the eShop without having to buy it physically. I didn't know that until it was too late, so I bought it again. And then I got my hands on the PC version, which runs the best, but it's region locked, so good luck getting the DLC. So we're just going with this for now. I bought it. I'll just play it like this. Times sacrifices have to be made for justice. But yeah, I legit bought the full content of this game twice. Some bad luck on my part. I thought that it was only going to be physical only, but it turns out that the Hong Kong eShop for this, for the Switch, has the English version. Which is pretty much what it's been like for a while. When they started putting Kamen Rider games in English, it was either they had to go on Singapore or the Hong Kong store. And if you bought it from there, then the game would be in English. This is Shin Godzilla. This game has collabs with all the remake movies they did, so Ultraman, and then Godzilla, and then Kamen Rider, which is the most recent one, which is what this game is. It's like a big collab that they're doing. Yeah, they're kind of treating this like Ridley and Smash Brothers. There's just no explanation. Godzilla in this is just like Mario. You know, he got ran into by a Goomba, so he shrunk. There's your explanation. That member was like, oh, we can't put Ridley in Smash Brothers because he's too big. The solution was he just shrunk like 12 feet. That's all. That's all that happened. He went from being the size of a small house to like a basketball player. There's your lore. Live with it. You guys wanted him in the game so much, we gave him to you. We're not gonna put too much thought to the story. He's just the size of Shaq now. He's not the size of a building anymore. There you go. Deal with it. Well, ironically, this game completely spoils the movie. This game completely spoils the movie. Almost, I'd say it spoils, like, maybe 80% of the movie. Now, due to the way that the movie ends, they had to take some liberties. But this game legit spoils, like, such a big chunk of the movie. I was actually pretty shocked. So I definitely did not grow up with movie games this accurate. Most of the movie games I had as a kid, like, barely had anything to do with the movie. For some reason with this one, they were very accurate. No, a lot of it was being rushed to have it out for the movie. This game kind of broke that cycle, because it pretty much spoils, like, most of the plot. Even down to the order you fight the bosses in. It's pretty interesting. So I saw the movie a few weeks ago. Haha, nice. Nice. Do you have the game in English, or do you have it in Japanese? If you tell me that, I can help you. Because I'm playing on computer right now, but this is dumped from my Switch. I dump the DLC and I run it on computer, because it kind of runs like crap on real hardware. But, English. Hong Kong. Use the Hong Kong eShop. You have the physical version? Use the Hong Kong eShop. You can buy it off there. It's not expensive. Probably run you like 20 bucks.
どうするの？強化するのね。これがおすすめ。
Alright, you guys can see my collection here. And before anyone asks, these are all games that I bought. That's why I have 2 copies of Ninja Warriors in here, because I bought the physical version of this, because it's actually a game I grew up with, so I was like really happy when they remade it. But yeah, these are all the games I've dumped. But like, most of them I don't really play. I only play the ones that get enhanced, like Ninja Turtles you can run at like 120 FPS, and I've been too lazy to buy the game on PC. Kamen Rider 60 FPS patch, 3 Hopes 60 FPS, Bayonetta 3 doesn't really have any mods, but it does have more stable performance. You can upscale it. Kamen Rider is just playing is 30 FPS capped on Switch, but you can run it uncapped on here. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. A couple other games. Age of Calamity, and these 2 games run better. Let's see here. A lot of these games I didn't feel like buying the game again, so I just dumped them. Like a bunch of these games I have on PC, but I didn't at the time. It was like, I don't feel like dumping the game again. I don't feel like buying the game again, so I just play it on here. Either that, or I get lazy and I don't feel like going through the couple minutes of setup to play on the Switch, so I just play them on here. But some of these games I don't have on PC, so I just use this. But yeah, the main ones I play are up here. Let's see how this works. think it crashed. I don't think it's very happy right now. Oops. This game doesn't work in Yuzu. The sprites are all messed up. It's like not really a high-profile game, so I guess they don't fix it. Crash? Well, yeah, looks like a crash to me. Let's try that again. No, it's not wanting to work. Hold on. Maybe the one ripped from the eShop will work. Maybe the one from the cart's not working. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's working now. Hey, that's not right. What gives? There we go. Well, this is all messed up now. Damn it. There we go. Let's see if this works properly. I've heard that it does, but I've never actually tested it myself. So, we'll try it out. So I definitely don't feel like hooking up the Switch just to play this. I gotta go soon anyway, so... No, this isn't really a combo game. It's not a combo Andy game. This game's more about positioning and punishes. Kind of plays a little bit more like a fighting game. A pretty grounded fighting game. They did add some juggles in this remake. They did add some juggles in this remake, but they didn't want to change the way the game played too much, I guess. So they kept it under control. Yeah, I actually had this game as a kid, so this was pretty much my Final Fantasy remake when it came out. It's like, I didn't grow up with Final Fantasy, I grew up with this. This was a game my grandpa bought me. It came out when I was like 8. I played it a lot, so I was really happy when they remade it. They added more moves, but it's not really combo focused. Basically, the guys that made this back in the 90s, they still work at the company. And basically, they wanted to remake it before they got too old. Because unlike these other remakes, They wanted some control over it. They didn't want a bunch of kids remaking one of their favorite projects, so they took it upon themselves to do it. But yeah, this game wasn't very popular when it came out. It got popular. It got popular after it got on emulation. More people started to play it. But yeah, I was one of the kids that had this. I had this growing up, so I was like very happy when they remade it. But I don't think many people really grew up with it. It's kind of like Chrono Trigger. I mean, most people didn't play Chrono Trigger when it came out because it was like $90 in 1995 money, and also like the PlayStation and N64 were coming out like a few months later, so a lot of people didn't play it. But you know, SNES emulation caught up pretty fast. Pretty average computer that your mom would have in the family room could like run that game. So a lot of people my age, I did play that game on console, but a lot of people definitely experienced it through ROMs and stuff. I think this game is the same. These days it's regarded as like top 3 beat-em-ups on the SNES. It's pretty much this and Final Fight 3 are like the like undisputed best beat-em-ups. And then like the third place in no particular order will usually be something like Turtles in Time or Rushing Beat Shura. But pretty much the 2 slots of the top 3 is going to be this game and Final Fight 3. None of the other beat-em-ups really come close. But it depends on who you talk to, how much nostalgia they have. Because I did grow up with this game, so that's part of it, but over the years it became regarded as like one of the best beat-em-ups on the platform. Could say the same for Mario RPG as well. Like, the N64 was pretty much out when that game released, and it was crazy expensive, so I think a lot of people played that game through emulation. I did rent that game. I never owned it, but I beat that game as a kid. Well, the N64 was not a very good console in my opinion. I actually didn't like having an N64. I think that's the worst Nintendo console. N64 just has a couple amazing, like, revolutionary games, but the problem with it was actually living through that era, growing up with that thing, sucked, because you would go months with nothing to play. It had like a fourth of the games that the SNES did. Playing N64 games now is a lot better than doing it back in the 90s, because you can just play the good stuff. There would often be like only like 2 games a month. Zelda also got delayed like 2 years. That was supposed to be like their killer app. Their post Mario 64 killer app was supposed to be Zelda, but it kept getting delayed over and over. I guess they didn't want to compromise on their scope for that game, so they kept delaying it. The problem was there was barely anything to fill in the gap. It kind of blew their load on the N64 in like the first like 15 months. They had Mario, Star Fox, Mario Party, and GoldenEye, but then there was like nothing else. You go a hot minute with nothing to play. That's why I think it's the worst N64 console, worst Nintendo console. A lot of people will say the Wii U. Nah, I think the Wii U had, just because of indie games, had more to play overall. Well, the games didn't age well either, and that's pretty much undeniable. The games aged like milk, but just living through it sucked, because you'd go... The PlayStation had so many more games. PlayStation had a lot of shitty games too, but just by order of probability, there's more good games when you have more games in general, right? When you have barely any games, and only a few of them are good, and it takes months to get another good game, you kind of start to regret asking for one. That's kind of how I felt. I had friends with PlayStations, and they had, like, way more stuff to play than I did. I'm, like, still stuck with Mario and Zelda, and they have, like, Metal Gear Solid, the Final Fantasies are coming out, and the Mega Man games and everything, and I couldn't play any of those. GameCube was kind of a return to form. I liked the GameCube way more than the N64, but eventually I got a PS2 a couple years in, and I kind of stopped using the GameCube. Yeah, the N64 only has like under 400 games. And that's counting sports games too, so there's probably like a couple dozen sports games, which are like the worst things on any platform. It's all the Maddens and the FIFAs and the NBAs and stuff. Like, those games barely count. So there's got to be at least a couple dozen of those. So it's like, there's only like 300 games on the N64. There's maybe a few dozen worth playing. Well, the GameCube, they actually had third-party support, which helped. Smash Melee was infamously delayed for like months. It was supposed to be a launch game, but it wasn't. It didn't get delayed as bad as Ocarina of Time did, but it was definitely noticeable. But the difference was developers actually wanted to work with them because they weren't doing cartridges anymore, so... You still got to play most of the PS2 games. Majority of them. You know, you could still play Tony Hawk. A lot of the movie license games, the Spider-Man games and stuff you could play. You couldn't say the same for the N64. N64 had complete shit for third-party support, and I think they really underestimated how important that was, because Nintendo basically had to keep that console alive by themselves. It was pretty much them and Rare, which was like a second-party developer doing the Donkey Kong games and stuff. I guarantee you, look at like any best N64 games list, like 90% of them are either going to be from Nintendo first party or Rare. It'd be like a small handful that are third party, like Mischief Makers. What's up, Alvy? Casual, no damage. Nah, third party has come back to Nintendo for sure. It's just most of it is crappy indie games and mobile ports. And how weak the console is limiting what can come to it. The N64 wasn't weak. It's just the cartridge. Final Fantasy VII was supposed to come to N64, but it would have been like crazy expensive to put like 2.5 gigs of data on a cartridge back then. It would have been crazy expensive, so they didn't do it, which would have changed things a lot for sure. It's like now they don't have that problem, but thing about the Switch is it's strong enough to run shovelware, so there's lots of really shitty games on there. They haven't been able to escape that since the Wii, pretty much. Because that's what the Wii was as well. The Wii was still standard definition, while everything else was HD, so all the lower tier games went to the Wii. That's why it was called the shovelware console. Still great games on the Wii, but a lot of stuff clearly just designed to make a quick buck because it was way cheaper. But you could also play Sengoku Basara 3 on that console, so there was some really good stuff if you looked hard enough. But they got their third-party support back at a price. There was a cost for it for sure. Now it's like people want to make games for the Switch, but the hardware is so weak, they're having to stop porting their games to it. That's the situation they're in right now. Because a lot of smaller games like this I'm playing right now sold like way more on the Switch than any other platform it was on, but the hardware is really starting to show its age, so they can't port to Switch anymore. Which sucks for everybody, because games like this, indie-adjacent games that aren't like trying to chase trends or be like super lowest common denominator. This game is made for a very specific group of people. People who either really like beat-em-ups or they grew up with this game as a kid. Now I'm both, because I did have this game as a kid. So, for many intents and purposes, this was my Final Fantasy remake. Like, I didn't care about that game. This game got announced around the same time. But they didn't try to make this to sell like 10 billion copies. They made this for a very specific audience. The problem is that even the indie games can barely run on the Switch now, so they gotta do something about that pronto. I don't know if you guys know, but the little Wolverine guys and the Kunoichi, the censorship on this game actually impacted the gameplay, because on the Western version of this game, the Kunoichi were replaced due to censorship. So they replaced every Kunoichi spawn with the little Wolverine midgets. So like, the censorship for this game actually messes with the game design. Because instead of making another sprite, all they did was they just replaced every Kunoichi spawn with the Wolverine midget. So you fought like 10 more billion of those guys. It wasn't like Final Fight where they just sprite edited Poison and Roxy. No, they didn't bother to make another sprite. So this game is actually more accurate than the one I grew up with. Because I had the American version, of course. Oops. Yeah, it's just one of the few games where the censorship actually impacted the gameplay, you know? As kids, we like to complain about the removal of the blood in Mortal Kombat, but the game was the same, right? It didn't affect the gameplay at all. Like the Ninja Warriors game actually was pretty drastic difference the censorship caused. It's pretty interesting to think about. It's mostly just the way that they censored it. They kind of half-assed it. It's like, oh, we're just gonna replace every spawn with the Wolverine guys, which are like the most annoying enemy in the game. So it has its own implications and consequences. Let's see here. I feel like doing anything else. I might stream over at my neighbor's house if it's okay too. So I'll probably play some roguelikes over there maybe. Maybe after the cats are fed. It depends on how things are going over there. I think that's it for now though. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down a little bit and hydrate before I work over there. So yeah, if I see you guys again, it'll either be Tales of the Rays got an update. I put up a video for that yesterday. That game doesn't run like shit anymore, so I might start playing that again. Or I'll play roguelikes on the Steam Deck. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back at some point today. I'll probably stream tonight. I feel good enough to stream tonight, so if I stream from the computer tonight, it'll probably be more Kamen Rider. I gotta dump some more saves off my Switch as well. That's gonna take some time. Yeah, I'll catch you guys later. I might see you guys in like an hour. It'll be either an hour or 2.5 hours from now if I stream at my neighbor's house. Otherwise, it'll be later tonight. But all my roguelikes I can stream on the Steam Deck with no performance hit, so I might do some of that in a little bit.